something happens, means I'm not telling in bad, but something happens very, very good manner, right? Something happens very exciting, so you are that much happy that you are not focused in this session, right? So some emotional barriers are there, right? That you can say, through emotional aspect you can't involve in this session, so it is called emotional barriers. Selective perception. What is selective perception? What does it mean? Perception it means, anyone? परसेप्शन का मतलब क्या होता है? विचारधारा. In Gujarati, vichardhara, whatever we are thinking about, right? Like perception, it means, if any woman wear a sari, cotton sari and something, such kind of outfit, so we have a perception like that lady is ethnic, right? Ethnic, it means, like ethnic dressing sense. This lady has a ethnic dressing sense. So some perception किसी चीज के बारे में, किसी इवेंट के बारे में, किसी इंसान के बारे में हमारे दिमाग में जो एक पर्टिकुलर नोशंस होते हैं, राइट? परसेप्शंस होते हैं. So it is called selective perception. Perception, how it become a barriers to communication. Like I'm explaining you something, like this is the thing, right? This is a communication. It is called communication. But some other student has some another point of view, right? To take this thing on a different way. So you have to be very clear in your mind, like what is the perception? Selective perception. In simple sense, if I have to say, I'm explaining you something at this moment, now current, and you have a correct perception about it. But if you have another perception running in your mind, now this is not the right way. So it can become a barriers to communication. Okay. Information overload. What does it mean? Like I have already told you one thing. Like if you find out notes in on internet, what is the communication? 7 C's of communication. You can find it easily. A lots of PDF are available on Google or YouTube or books. So many books are available. Ma'am. Yes, Dhruv.
आपकी screen visible नहीं है.
Okay. Now it is.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dhruv. So communication is not that much, a creative subject or that much, difficult subject. So many PDFs are available and you can easily, download it, right? But when you want to understand any topic, right? If you have one specific answer and if you read it through that answer, you will have knowledge about that topic. Okay. But if you find so many answers on the same topic, like 10 answers, the same topic, right? What are barriers to communication? One question, second question, 3, 4. So if you read this whole unit, like one question from one book, one question from you read it from Google, one is from Sparks Notes. So it becomes overloaded information. So if there is overloaded information in your mind, it becomes messy and it becomes barrier to communication. So whenever, I'm not talking about communication only, any subject you read, okay, any subject you prepare for your exam or anything, right? So be a specific. Take any one selective book which is highly authoritative, with a good publishing house, right? And just read it from, maybe there is some you can say there is a it happens like some less information in that book, right? But try to focus on limited informations, so you can understand that topic easily. So when in communication informations overload, right, so it becomes barriers to communication. Okay, loss by transmission, what does it mean? Loss by transmission, it means transmission in simple sense. In our communication we can say the channel, right? So if my Wi-Fi is not working, so we have loss of a transmission. Okay, channel, it is also called transmission. So whenever we are now communicating with each other through the channel of internet, okay, so it is called transmission. So whenever any communicators are trying to communicate with each other, if they lost the transmission, so it can become a barriers to communication. The next barrier is poor retention. What does it mean? Retention. Retention, it means grasping power. Grasping power, it means
मैम आपका वॉइस क्लियर नहीं आ रहा.
am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. आपकी आवाज क्लियर ही आ रही है.
Yes.
मैम बीच बीच में आवाज कट के आ रही है आपकी.
Okay, maybe I will have a issue.
इंटरनेट प्रॉब्लम.
Yes, sir. I have a Wi-Fi, but if it gone, like if my voice is not clearly audible, please just please remind me. Okay. Am I?
ओके मैम.
Yes. Poor retention. Retention, it means what?
मैम
Yes.
मैम वो आप लॉस्ट बाय ट्रांसलेशन फिर से बताओगे?
हाँ. Yes, Ritika. Loss by transmission, it means transmission, it means क्या पता है? मतलब transmission, it means channel. We have already discussed a communication process, right? Sender, message, channel, receiver. Receiver gives a feedback to sender, right? Channel, do you know? चैनल, जिस चैनल से दो कम्युनिकेटर बात कर रहे हो, वो ओरल कम्युनिकेशन में थे डायरेक्टली, एंड करंटली वी आर कम्युनिकेटिंग विथ ईच अदर थ्रू इंटरनेट, राइट? थ्रू द इंटरनेट एरा. So it is called channel. It is also called transmission too, right? It's another synonym of channel. Synonym means samanarthi, right? So another synonym of transmission is channel. So loss by transmission, what does it mean? Loss by transmission, it means like now, currently I'm losing internet space and my voice is not clear to you all. So it can become barriers, right? Exact example of this class, right? So when you lost the transmission, when you lost the channel, when two communicators are communicating with each other, so it is called one barrier to communication. मतलब कि जब भी कोई कम्युनिकेटर बात कर रहे हो, अभी हम ऑनलाइन लेक्चर्स थ्रू बात कर रहे हैं, ऑनलाइन सेशन थ्रू बात कर रहे हैं, तो अभी इंटरनेट जो है वो हमारा बेसिक ट्रांसमिशन है. इफ आई लॉस दिस ट्रांसमिशन, इफ मेरा इंटरनेट अच्छी तरीके से वर्क नहीं कर रहा है, सो इट कैन बिकम बैरियर, राइट? इससे हमारे कम्युनिकेशन में बाधा होगी, राइट? इट इज क्लियर टू यू ऑल?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you. The next barrier is poor retention. What is a poor retention? Retention, it means grasping power. Grasping power, it means मेरे में मतलब कितनी चीजें लेने, ग्रास्प करने. ग्रास्प, डू यू नो? मतलब मैं कितना ले सकती हूँ, राइट? रिटेंशन
समझ सकते हैं.
हाँ, समझ सकते हैं, राइट? सो पुअर रिटेंशन, इट मीन्स आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग यू communication is this, communication is this, communication process is this, these are the, I'm explaining you 10 models of communication, I'm explaining you thousands of barriers in communication. But if receiver have poor retention, all student, I'm not telling like any student is a weak or in that way, but each and every student is a unique, and each and every student has their own grasping power, right? One thing I'm explaining to you, one student can easily understand it in a single line, and for other student it can be difficult to understand in a one sentence. Maybe I have to give a more explanation, maybe I have to give a more examples of that. So if audience have a poor retention power, poor grasping power, so it can become barriers to communication. Okay. Goal conflicts. Goal, it means what you want to achieve, right? Goal, it means now currently your goal is to attend this session and to know what is the barriers to communication, barriers of what are the barriers of communication. Okay, so this is a goal. And conflicts it means uh, संघर्ष, मतलब कि goal conflicts. If some student has no idea about what he wants to do today, he is not clear about what is exactly communication, why he has taken BCA as a subject, BCA department, why he has joined BCA. His friend has joined it, so he has started to join. He also interested to join this BCA department. Okay, BCA. So in this way, if any communicator, if any persons are not clear in his or her goal, so that goal conflicts, it can become barriers to communication. Because how listen, just imagine like there are the two students are there, right? Maybe there are two girls are there. Just imagine me and my friend. Okay, so my friend Minta has taken this subject BCA, and she is telling me like I'm going to take the subject Bachelor of whatever computer application and all. And I'm thinking that I have to join a BCA, or I have to join a BBA, or I want to pursue my career in my literature, right? A literature part. I want to, join this, you can say session, or this part, this. So on one side, I'm not clear in my goal. My friend is too much interested, and I'm very emphasized by my friend Meeta. Okay, so I'm also taking this BCA department. I'm also joining. I'm doing graduation in BCA. I'm not that much interested in literature also, right? So in some of the parts, I love to read literature, and I wanted to pursue my degree in my literature session. But maybe some of the reason I have joined BCA, right? So in my mind, something is running, and I have joined BCA. So when I'm attending this session, communication skill or other subjects, I don't know what are the subjects, but some other subjects. So maybe that goal conflicts. Whenever any professor explains you something, you are a little bit less interested in that subject as much as I am interested in my literature, in my novels, or in my Shakespearean era, right? So when any students or when any communicator have goal conflicts, so that person can't be good in communication, right? Whatever, if I have joined BCA department, so if I have to be clear, yes, this is the BCA, and I will give my 100%, whatever the reason it is. So the goal conflicts, it can also become a barriers to communication. Okay. Offensive style. Another barrier is offensive style. What does it mean? Offensive, it means you know just imagine that I'm your professor. Just not imagine, it is a real. I'm your professor, right? And I'm explaining you in this way. Offensive, it means in a very authoritative language. You have to do this. You have to do this. If you in the next lecture or in next session, if you have not make a PPT, I will not count you as a present and all. So offensive style, authoritative style, it can also become a barriers to communication. It means जब भी मैं आपको किसी ऐसे धमका के या समझ रहे हो ना, ऐसे मतलब ऑथोरिटेटिव वे से आपको यस ये है इतना समझ में नहीं आता, इतनी सी तो बात है, मतलब इट इज कॉल्ड ऑफेंसिव स्टाइल. ओके, सो जब when any communicator communicate with each other, so if speaker use such kind of offensive style, so receiver की समझ में ये नहीं आएगा कि मतलब वो अगर उसके मन में कोई क्वेश्चंस है तो वो उससे पूछेगा नहीं कि व्हाट डज इट मीन, और अगर वो बात वो समझा नहीं तो वो कम्युनिकेशन जो है वो मतलब सक्सेसफुल हुआ वो हम ऐसे कह नहीं सकते, राइट. सो ऑफेंसिव स्टाइल, it can also become a barriers to communication. And abstracting, it means abstract ideas, it means which is mainly not related to reality. Abstract idea, it means in simple way, if I have to say, like so many writers in my literature, in subject, there are so many writers who writes about life. They ask a question like spiritual questions. What is life? What is the meaning of life? Why we live? Why we do BCA? Matlab, we are doing a graduation to get a good job. This is life. But if any student just thinking, why I have taken this subject, what will I do if I get such kinds of salary, what will I do? So, this kinds of question, it's called abstracting. Abstract question. This is kind of a question is called abstract ideas. So in communication, you should have to be clear, right? You should have to be concise in your language. You should have to be a very polite in your communication, so it will be easier to understand the thing through the receiver, by the receiver, and receiver can also involve in this process of communication. So these are the barriers of communication: psychological barriers, sociological barriers. Psychological barriers, it means which I have to something running in your mind, some emotions and all. Selective perception, it means whatever the notions, the vichara, right? Some running in your mind, and you are very selective, right, for particular things. Information overloaded. So many informations are overloaded in your mind that you can't be clear for that topic. Loss of transmission, it means channel. If I lost my Wi-Fi connection, so it is called barriers to communication. Poor retention. Retention, it means grasping power. If any receiver, if any writer explaining this is a theme of my story, right? Why I have written this novel. But if any audience has a poor retention, he has not that much mental power, or you can say psychological power, that he can grasp that thing. Okay, so it can become barriers. Goal conflicts, which I have given example of that, right? The receiver or speaker is not clear what is his goal, what is the main what he wants to do, right? I'm not talking about life and all, but he is not clear what he is going to do today, right? Offensive style means very authoritative style, and abstract. Always, in communication, it should be clear and it should be concise. There will not means we are not in a guru in a spiritual aspect, like we are going to explain this is life. Communication, it should be clear and concise. Okay, these all our barriers are clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Now I have I have selected some barriers to communication from the sender parts also, and from the receiver parts also, like a sender. I'm a sender, right? Currently, I'm a sender. So, what do I do? So, it can become a barriers for you in this our communication process. So, barriers attributable to the senders. मतलब कि मैं ऐसी कौन सी चीज करूं कि मतलब जिसकी वजह से अभी मैं जो आपको सब्जेक्ट पढ़ा रही हूँ, टॉपिक पढ़ा रही हूँ, वो आपको समझने में तकलीफ होगी, मतलब बहुत ही मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, राइट? इजीली आप उसे समझ नहीं पाओगे, राइट? सो बैरियर्स attributable to the senders are lack of planning. मान लो कि मैं मतलब just imagine that I haven't prepared any PPT. Even I don't know what today I'm going to teach you. I know communication. Let's start. This is communication. This is a process, and this way, right? So if I have not make such kind of a PPT. I'm not organized in my works, so it can become a barriers for you, right? You can't easily understand this topic as much as I want to explain you. Okay, it is clear to you all? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Another thing is that vagueness about the purpose of communication and objectives to be achieved. In the same way, vagueness about the purpose of communication and objectives to be achieved. It means I'm not clear. It is a one kind of lack of planning. Today I'm not, early morning. I just woke up and I thought, oh, today I have a communication class. Okay, and and I started to take a class without any planning, without making any notes, without any perception of clarity in my mind, right? So uh, मतलब ऐसे ही मैं कोई भी चीज आके ऐसे ही पढ़ा लूं विदाउट एनी प्लानिंग, विदाउट एनी स्ट्रक्चरलाइजेशन. सो द पॉइंट आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस, जो चीज मैं आपको कंसाइज वे में डायरेक्टली एक्सप्लेन करना चाहती हूँ, तो वो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स टू बी अचीव्ड. इट विल नॉट हैपन now here now moment or currently. It will barriers to communication I am going to teach you. I am teaching you right now, right? So if I make a good PPT, if I make a point in a concise manner, if I try to explain that words as much as I can do it from the very best part from my side, right? So it will be easily understood from your side too. So I have to be clear what I am going to teach you. So for that reason, our objective, it can be achieved. Next is poor choice of words resulting. Yes,
Vagueness means.
vagueness, it means not concise, not clear.
Okay.
Poor choice of words resulting in a badly encoded message. मतलब अब की poor choice of words, right? It means whatever the thing I want to discuss with you, I have to be clear what I'm going to tell you, right? So I have to choose such kinds of words, selective words. So what I try to explain you, it can be easily understood by you all. Okay. Next thing is unshared or incorrect assumption. Assumption, it means in Gujarati you can say dharana, right? It likes perception. Perception, it's in a positive. Assumption means, right? No, any person's think from his or her point of view. So if I explain something from incorrect assumption, so it would be, you can say it can be difficult to understand that thing from your side too. Different perception of reality, perception, that. And wrong choice of channel. Wrong choice of channel, it means you can say wrong choice of transmission. It means just imagine that I give you one work. I give you like you have to give a presentation, right, in the next session. So normally presentation it should be in offline classes, right? uh, it will be
मैम कब
more
होगी ऑफलाइन क्लास?
ऑफलाइन सेमेस्टर 3 में शुरू हो गया है अभी. आप सेमेस्टर
मैम
1 में.
हमारा कब होगा?
That I don't know. You should ask Vikas sir because will have a more. He will have a more clarification. But in semester 3, I'm taking offline class. I don't know about semester 1. Okay. So wrong choice of channel. It means when we select channel in a wrong way, it means some communication. It is very, you can say, you can very justifiable to us some choice of aspects. मतलब कि in simple sense, like if I'm giving you a one work, like you have to present a presentation. So presentation it should be in offline class, right? So it will be more clear, it will be more clarified to all students. So from the sender point of view or from the sender part, what are the barriers? So lack of planning, poor choice of words, incorrect assumptions, different perceptions of reality, wrong choice of channels. मतलब कि in simple sense जब भी कोई speaker बात कर रहा है कोई भी communications के बारे में, और अगर मैंने अपना ये topic जो है वो आज अच्छी तरीके से plan नहीं किया है, even today I don't know what today I am going to teach you. My objective is not clear. If I'm not making a correct presentation PPT slide with a choice of words, so in this communication it can become a difficult for you to understand these topics. Okay, so these are the barriers from the side of a sender. What are the barriers you can say attributable from the receiver's side? So अभी मैंने अपने साइड से बता दिया कि what is this barriers it can happen from the part of a speaker. स्पीकर की तरफ से अगर मैंने ये पॉइंट अच्छी तरीके से तैयार नहीं किया तो ये कैन बिकम बैरियर टू यू. बट आप में कौन से बैरियर से, मतलब एज अ रिसीवर what happens, so you can't understand that topic as in a good way. So these are that poor listening skills. It means any person has a, if a have a, you can say poor listening skills, matlab you can't listen properly the whole sentence, so that the meaning of that topic it will be difficult to understand, right? In attention means ki, in attention it means you have to focus. In attention means you are not focused in this session, right? So it can become a barriers, right? Mistrust, it's not like a mistrust, but you have a you have not clarity, like the topic is what ma'am is going to teach you, it is 100% authentic or not, in that way you can take it. Okay. uh, Lack of interest, you don't have that much interest in this communication skill class, so maybe it can become a barrier from your side. Premature evaluation. Evaluation, it means in Gujarati you can say arthghatan, right? Evaluation. So whatever I'm trying to explain you, but you are taking it in a premature evaluative way. मतलब कि मैं जिस तरह से आपको कोई चीज बताना चाहती हूँ, बट आप इसका evaluation कुछ premature way से, मतलब कोई गलत तरीके से कर रहे हो, right? So it can become a barriers. Semantic difficulties. Semantic, it means language, right? If in our session in the beginning, so many students are have questions about the language, right? You have to explain the session in Hindi. So semantic difficulties, it means if any person, any receiver is weak in any language, so it can become a barriers. It can become barriers in the process of communication. If you are watching English movie, uh, and you know English, but you have some you have not that much clarity about each and every vocabulary part of English, right? So maybe some of the part of the movie you can't understood. Through the scenery part you can understand it, but what he or she has delivered the dialogue, maybe it can't be easily understood by you. If you are watching Hindi movie, it can be easily understood by you also. It is called semantic difficulties. Semantic difficulties, it means it is mainly related to language aspects, right? Bias, you all know biasness, मतलब कि किसी एक चीज के बारे में बायस होना, मैंने ये कहा तो बस यही है, ये सच, राइट? मतलब बायस्ड, ये गलत हो ही नहीं सकता, राइट? इट इज कॉल्ड बायसनेस. And different perception of reality that we have already, perception vichardhara, right? Each and every person has a his or her own perception about anything. It can based on a student's personal knowledge, or you can say background, family, so many aspects are there for that perception. Lack of trust. So these are the barriers to communication from the sides of a receiver. Okay, so today I also wanted to try to explain you the 7 C's of communication, but it's 11:50 and I have another class, so I conclude my session today here. So today what we have discussed, communication barriers, matlab what are the barriers of communication from the both of the parts, like behavior, accuracy and all, something from the speaker's part and from the receiver part. So socio-psychological barriers, emotional barriers, selective perception. If informations are overloaded, it can become a barrier. Loss of transmissions, right? Channel if loss, if grasping power is less, if goal is not clear, if speaker is too offensive in his style, if in communication any speaker is explaining you the thing in abstract way, so these can become a barriers to communication. From speaker's side, if speaker have a lack of planning, he or she is not clear in his objective, like what and for this slide, in simple sense, if I have to say, if I don't know what today I'm going to teach you, I have not make any PPT or PDF or whatever it is, and I have started to teach you, so it can become a barrier to you all. I should be you can say clear in my mind today what I am going to teach you, in which way I am going to teach you. I try to make a PPT as good as I can make it. Okay, so these are the barriers of communication from the speaker side, and these are the barriers from the receiver side, like he has or she has a poor listening skill, he has a lack of interest, premature evaluation, semantic difficulties, language difficulties, they don't have that much idea about some particular word, some particular language, so it can become a barrier to communication, right? Biasness, lack of trust and perception about the thing. Okay, so today I conclude my session here. In our next session, we are going to discuss about 7 C's of communication. It means it is a very important topic. So please, next session, I request to you all at least listen. Okay, in which we are going to discuss about this kinds of these 7 C's, like clarity, conciseness. When you are communicating with any person, at that time you have to these 7 C's you have to be clear in your mind when you are communicating with any person, especially in your professional era. Okay, so any question from your side?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, so I hope the barriers of communications are clear to you all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and yes, Ronit and Keshav, I have already taken a screenshot. Okay, so have a good day to all of you and thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Have a good day.
And listen one thing, listen one thing. आफ्टर मतलब जैसे ही मैं ये मीटिंग जो है वो लेफ्ट करूँ, कोई भी बच्चा जो है वो कोई भी स्टूडेंट आपको इस मीटिंग में ग्रुप मतलब बातचीत नहीं करनी है. अगर आपको बात करनी है तो आप अपना ग्रुप कॉल कीजिए फोन से. ओके, इफ आई फाउंड इट टुडे आई विल मेक एब्सेंट टुडे. ओके, सारे बच्चों को जैसे ही मीटिंग खत्म हो यहाँ से लेफ्ट हो जाने का है. ओके,
Attendance?
yes, I have taken Lalit. Yes, Keshav, Lalit, I have taken.